Hello, and welcome to episode 6 of D Professionals, What I Learned from My Graduate Program. I know I said that episode 5 would be the final episode, studying while working. However, I feel that I had to share with you my key takeaways from a very important part of my career, which was my 18-month graduate program. In this video, I'm going to share 3 main takeaways with you. And these, I think, are things that you can apply to your career, whether or not you're in a graduate program. And these are things that I still find useful today. Tip number 1, think ahead. While you're in your graduate program, it could be structured in one or more ways. Mine was characterized by assignments that you had to do in various countries, and we had 3 of these. One was given to everyone. You had to spend 4 months in a specific country working on a group project, and then the other 2 were assignments you had to find yourself. So you had to find a unit in your company and find a manager that would host you for about 5 months. Now, this was something you had to plan yourself. As I mentioned, you had to rely on contacts, could be from previous programs or managers within the company that could point you in the right direction. So it's almost like looking for a job. In terms of thinking ahead, this was one thing you had to think ahead for your assignments, but you have to think even further than that, because you're not just within the bubble of this 18-month program. What happens afterwards? And for me, that was the most important thing. What would I do after my graduate program? What would be my anchoring job or my final job once I came out of the 18-month program? I had a plan A. My plan A was to get a job in a country where I had done an assignment and get a permanent job there. That didn't go according to plan, but I had a plan B. My plan B was to go full-time into my master's program, which I told you that I just started after I started my graduate program. So if all else failed, I would go full-time into my master's program. However, plan C came into play, and plan C wasn't my plan. It was God's plan, I would say, and that brought me to the country that I am now and took me on the path that led me to where I am today. So actually, you can have multiple plans, but they may not all work out, and you could have a plan that comes from somewhere else. But the moral of the story is to have plans, have a main plan, have a backup plan, and if possible, have a backup plan. So always think ahead, and by thinking ahead, you will also plan ahead. Tip number 2, network smartly. Now, usually when you start a graduate program in a country, you're introduced to the high-level executives of that country. You also have, of course, your group mates who you get to know. Some of them may know managers in different countries or in different units where you may want to move to in the future. But then make sure that you start to use these contacts. And it's not just about networking. It's also about performance. And a specific example that I'll give you is during one of our projects, I actually found a manager who would point me to my next position. But this wouldn't have been possible if I had not performed in my current job. So it's not just about networking and socializing, it's also about performing, so that the person who refers you will know that, okay, this is someone of value, this is someone that can actually help this person that I'm going to point them to, so I'm not taking a risk by referring them. So it's performance plus networking, not just networking. And I have to add to this that one of my projects actually led me to finding a mentor, but this was 3 years after I finished my graduate program. I didn't have a mentor during the course of the program because I didn't find one that was suitable for me. However, 3 years after I got out of the program, I believed it was high time that I got a mentor, and I actually went back to one of the sponsors of one of our projects, and this person was happy to be my mentor, obviously because I had done projects for him, I'd worked for him, and he knew that I was someone he could bank on. So network smartly. You never know when these contacts will come into use. Tip number 3, grow up quickly. Graduate programs are fun. You get to meet a big group of people. Sometimes you find friends for life, not just for work. It's almost like a utopia. You're the stars in the company. People are always willing to help you, so do make sure that you use that help. If you need help finding your projects, if you need help finding the next job, people are usually willing to help you, especially if you came in on a graduate program. But I mentioned this bubble before. It's not an 18-month bubble. You have to think about what happens next. You have to be self-sufficient, and you have to plan ahead. Like I referred to the first point, think ahead, plan ahead. So grow up quickly. Not everything is going to be handed to you on a silver platter. Your career is in your own hands. Use your contacts, use your network, and of course you have to perform in order to stay in and be successful in your company. So do try to come out of the bubble of fun, the bubble of happiness that is a graduate program. Of course, enjoy it, but you need to be able to face reality pretty soon and start building your career yourself. Thank you very much for watching this episode, and speak to you soon.